welcome back to the Hoop Life Productions podcast. I'm here with my friend Chance. It's been, 2 weeks since we recorded?
2 weeks, man. I've been dying to talk about some basketball.
Yeah, me too. A lot has happened since. And as you can tell by the title of the video, we're doing our 40th mock draft because you guys love them so much. So that's actually 3.0. But I'm going to do the odds and you'll have the evens. I mean, you have anything you want to say before we jump into it?
Yeah, these mock drafts do really well, but they're also pretty fun for us to make because it's like a little bit different than what we would normally do. So it's like a good twist of, prospects out of college, and then you can talk about the teams that they're going to in the NBA. So I like the all-around aspect of mock drafts pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun. I feel like we know a lot more about these guys than the first time we did it. I remember.
For sure, yeah.
I'll be full disclosure with you guys since we're here now. I remember the first one we did. After I I stopped recording. I turned to Chance and I was like, "Who's Corey Kingsbury?" Obviously we know all those names now.
He gave me this look, and I was like, "Oh, I don't think he knows who he is, so I'll take over."
But yeah, so
I'm pretty confident on these guys 1 through 14, and I know a lot more about them than I did even a month ago. So, the NCAA tournament helps a lot with that too. So we'll call this the post NCAA tournament edition mock draft.
All right, so start with the first pick here.
Wait. We forgot one thing. I did do a lottery simulation, but I'll tell you how this works. So it's not based on the current standings. I used a site called Tankathon where you can do lottery simulations and it shows you the standings. So pretty much what I did, I simmed the lottery 5 times, and I did the average draft position in those lottery simulations for all 14 teams. So whatever your average was, whoever had the lowest average number was first. In Cleveland, jumped from 5 to 1 3 times, so they got the first pick. And who do you got Cleveland taking at pick 1?
Well, you'd be really surprised with this one,
Nobody's got him at 1.
This is a guy out of Oklahoma State. His name's Cade Cunningham. 6'7", 220-pound guard. We don't really have to go into all. You guys know who Cade Cunningham is. He averaged 20 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, almost a block, and 1.5 steals. He had a really good year at Oklahoma State. I don't want to say he folded in the tournament. I think his team just kind of wasn't as good as who'd they lose to? Oregon State?
Yeah, I think it was Oregon State.
Yeah, and I don't think he was as good as we expected him to see, but I don't really base my scouting off college basketball games, the outcome of the game. So he's the obvious number 1 pick here. He just has it all. We talk about this every time. His best comp is Ben Simmons with a jumper. I can't think anything else.
I don't think he has the defensive versatility of Ben Simmons.
But the size and
he's kind of one of a kind, if we're being honest. It's hard to find a real comparison for him, which is honestly a good thing. If you're one of a kind, they usually turn out pretty stinking good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about his role on Cleveland and what Cleveland does if they get Cade Cunningham.
I think this is monumental for Colin Sexton. I was talking to someone that I know about Colin Sexton a few days ago, and I don't know how you feel. I feel like Colin Sexton, because he's such a tweener in size and he plays like a 2, that for his career he has to become a facilitator. That, or he's always going to be a Lou Williams type guy. And if Cade Cunningham comes to the team, it's going to automatically make him that because he's not going to be the main ball handler.
So does this mean Darius Garland is the odd man out if they get the first pick?
Yeah, because he's not near as proven as Sexton, and Cade is going to be the number 1 pick. He's obviously, I think he'd start right away.
Higher upside, too.
Yeah.
He's honestly probably already better. Although I like the jump Garland made this year.
Yeah.
I think any team would be lucky to trade for him, and I also think he would get traded for less value than what he's actually worth. because it's kind of like it's unfortunate for Garland that he would be getting traded at such a young age, but when a team gets a number 1 pick, it doesn't matter that you're the starting point guard when Cade Cunningham is on the board.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cleveland goes forward with Cunningham, Sexton, washed up Kevin Love, Okoro, and
Jared Allen.
Yeah, and Jared Allen, stuff like that. So I like that. I like that young core going forward if
Yeah.
they get the number 1 pick.
Sure.
So I'm on the clock with the number 2 pick, and Orlando was able to get the number 2 pick in our lottery simulation. And this might come as a surprise to you guys because every other lottery mock draft has Evan Mobley going number 2, but I don't like him and Wendell Carter Jr. in the front court. I think it could be a little weird. So I have Orlando taking Jalen Green, the 6'6", 178-pound 2-guard out of the G League. And I really liked what I saw out of him this year. He dropped nearly 20 points a game, 4.6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1.8 steals. He's just a bucket. Like, it's simple. Like, he's going to come in right away and be like a go-to scorer. I don't think he'll be a 20-point-per-game guy right away, but like his upside is like one of the top scorers in the league. I
25, 26 a game.
Yeah.
He's my favorite player in the draft in terms. Not my favorite. I think he's the best. If I was doing just a big board, he's not gonna go number 1. And I know that's kind of a controversial opinion, which, according to Chance in our text messages the other day, I've been full of those lately.
You have.
But
Clippers winning the championship. He texted me. He goes, Zion Williamson's already a top 10 player. And I love Zion. He's amazing. But
after I looked over that,
I came up with a list of 12 guys that are easily.
At that time, I was watching Zion play, and I just texted you, and I was like, Zion's a top 10 player. But he's up there. I guess I just meant like he's already super elite.
Yeah. But
anyway,
let's talk about Jalen Green.
I love Jalen Green as a player. I think he's, along with Kuminga, who we'll talk about later, I think they're the most NBA ready for the simple fact that they are already playing pros.
That's true. That's a good point, actually.
That's not how it always works. Like, I know a lot of guys come out of college and hoop right away, and there's guys that come overseas that play pros and aren't good, but you look at a guy like Luka, and I think he benefited from starting playing with pros at like 16 years old. And these guys, not only are they playing pros, they're playing pros under the same league that it's part of the NBA. Like, they're playing, they're already adjusted to the flights and the schedules and practice and all that. It's very similar. And a lot of those guys in the G League that they get to know used to be in the NBA. So I think that's really good for a guy like him. And I think he'll come in and score comfortably right away. I think he could be like a 17, 18 point a game rookie on especially a team like Orlando, who has he's gonna have a green light. He's gonna do what Terrence Ross is doing right now, taking every shot. But
that's what I was thinking. It's a win-win for both sides. Like, Green comes in and he's already one of the go-to scorers, and Orlando gets what they've needed for so long in like a go-to scorer. I love what Vucevic brought to the team. He was so loyal and honestly one of the best centers in the league year in and year out.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's a guard-driven league still. And they just never had that guard that could just take over a game. Mm-hmm. And Jalen Green obviously has that upside. So
I don't know how you feel about this comp. He kind of reminds me, and I'm trying to be like more realistic here. He's like a better version of a young J.R. Smith. Like he's like super athletic.
That's a weird.
I know it sounds weird, but he's gonna be a shot chucker right away. Like, he's gonna take a lot of shots. He's super athletic, and he's bigger than JR, so I'm not saying he's J.R. Smith, but like, he reminds me of him in play style a lot. And but he's 6'6", 178. I think JR is like 6'3", 6'4". Anyway, he averaged what? Did you already say he averaged 20 a game in the G League?
Yeah, he played really well.
Yeah, and I think he's one of those guys that, because he's 6'6", he's like an RJ Barrett type guy where like, you could plug him at the 2 or the 3 right away because the NBA is so positionless now. Okay. And he's just perfect for Orlando.
I'm going to ask you a non-player analysis question.
Okay.
Do you think going to the G League for a year is more beneficial than playing a year in college?
I think it depends where you go. I think that if you go to a place like Kentucky, like what was the coach Calipari for Kentucky? He has a resume of making you a star in the NBA. Like, he's known to do that. Duke guys, not so much. I mean, we've seen Kyrie, Tatum, a few others. But my point is, there's certain colleges that focus on turning you into a NBA star, and there's certain colleges that focus on turning you into a college star and like winning games in college. Like, I'll be honest, I'm a huge Michigan State fan. If my son was, I don't know, a Moni Bates or someone like that, I'd send him to the G League before Tom Izzo, because those guys go there, they end up staying 2 years, and it drains them out right away, you know. And I think G League overall is the better option. I think we're going to start seeing that more. But I don't think the college is dead by any means. I mean, look how March Madness, look how big it was this year.
There's factors that play into that kind of situation. Like, if you come from a home that's not generating a lot of income, these guys have an opportunity to get.
How do you turn that down?
Yeah, they get an opportunity to make six figures like right away.
Right away, at the minimum 6 figures.
And then still, like we saw here, Jalen Green still is a top 5 pick, and he didn't go to college.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So
with these top 5 guys, I would say G League route. If you're a guy like Jalen Brunson or Kyle Lowry, like I'm talking about Villanova guys, you see what Villanova just develops the hell out of players. If you're a guy who needs work, then I would say go to college. But these guys that we all know are stars that have 11 million view mixtapes in high school, just go to I would say go to the G League. But some people want an education.
The G League, it was a W this year. Like,
oh, for sure.
Even a guy like Isaiah Todd, he wasn't even projected to be drafted this year, but he played a year for the G League, and now he's projected, I think, mid to late second round or so. It even worked out for a guy that wasn't even highly touted. So
yeah.
Let's move on to Detroit.
And this is my pick.
And you have them.
Yep. All right, so we watch a lot of Detroit basketball because we live in Michigan.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. AJ isn't, for obvious reasons.
You know, there's a guy that goes by the name of Plum Dog Millionaire, Mason Plumlee.
It's going to be tough
center.
to take him out of the starting
It's tough to take him
lineup.
out of here, man. But, you know, we got to do what we got to do. And he doesn't space the floor at all. In fact, he's like the very opposite. And here we're going to take a guy in Evan Mobley out of USC, 7 foot, 210-pound center, who not only spaces the floor, he kind of just does everything. If you were asked me to name the most complete player in this draft, it'd either be him or Cunningham, and I think I'd probably go him. He just does everything, and he's the perfect power forward center build for this league. He averaged 17.5 a game, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks, which is crazy, and a steal. And I watched him in the tournament, and USC had a pretty good run, and he was really good in all of those games. So
they made it farther in the tournament than I had.
I guess what really matters here is I want to hear the Detroit fans' opinion of this.
Yeah, for us, it would just be best player available, because it's not like you can take a guy and be like, oh, he's not going to start. We've already got this guy. So, yeah, I like Mobley coming in. Obviously, this makes Mason Plumlee expendable. Boo-hoo. So, yeah. And then last year's draft pick, Isaiah Stewart, he could play the 4 because he's a little undersized for a center, and he can stretch the floor. So I kind of like that aspect of having that front court going forward. But with Mobley, it's the fact that he can space the floor and block shots, and then not many guys in the league can do that. That's what makes Mobley's ceiling so incredibly high. But I think just put on a little bit of muscle, get stronger, obviously, then, I mean, the sky's the limit for him.
And I love the pairing of him and Isaiah Stewart, especially watching today, me realizing that Isaiah Stewart can actually space the floor, which is awesome.
And they're like the complete opposite.
That's what I'm saying.
Too.
Everything, Mobley has everything, but his only question is, can he put a little weight on, a little strength?
And Isaiah Stewart literally is strength.
Man body, you know, like they really balance each other out. And I'd love to see Mobley in
This
Detroit.
gets me excited, man.
Yeah.
I really hope that Detroit at least doesn't move down in the lottery for once. I don't know if anyone knows this besides like Detroit, huge Detroit Pistons fans, but we've been in the lottery, I think, 14 or 15 times now. And not a single time have we moved up. So maybe this is the year. If we do move up, it won't be very much, but it's a good chance we could move down as well. So
I
let's
honestly,
just hope
from
we
someone who just lives in the state, I just want to see the Pistons thrive. Like, I'm not
been
like
a
I don't
while.
consider myself a Pistons fan. I root for them when they're playing probably anyone other than my Thunder. But like, my point is, let's see, last time that they were good a few years after 2004. So we'll say I was like 6 last time that they were really good, which means you were like 5. Like,
I mean, they made the conference finals from, what was it, 04 to like 08? No, it was 04 to 09. They were like 6 straight conference finals.
okay. So I was 9.
So they were up there for 6 years, but since then it just,
Yeah.
not much has been going on.
Yeah. So yeah, we just want to see them do better. And you have the next pick
So
here.
Minnesota fans are not going to like this mock draft because when I simulated this 5 times, they slid to 4 or 5 every time besides like once, I think. So Golden State,
Which is
from the
ironic
averages-
because Minnesota always does well in the lottery. They always
Yeah,
Cat,
exactly.
Wiggins, Edwards. That's 3 number 1 picks.
just think how unfortunate this would be if they fell to 4 and they didn't get their pick after having such a down year.
Yeah.
What do you think they do? Like, what do they do from there? Do they trade Cat? Do they trade D'Lo as well?
I feel like they have to, and then bank on whoever they get, like in the draft as ending up being a great player because it's so deep.
Yeah, do they even have a pick if they don't get their...
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They're in a hard spot.
So you better hope and pray that they stay in the top 3 if you're a Minnesota fan. Although I don't think there's many.
Yeah.
Sorry for the
Every time
low-key shade.
they say this on, I feel like I shout them out every episode, but every time because I watch the Through the Wire podcast a lot, and every time they talk about the Houston Rockets, they're like, Houston Rockets lost another game, and then they always add in, and they still have a better record than the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, the Timberwolves, I don't know where to go with them, man, but I guess we can go right here with
Moving
Golden
on
State.
from Minnesota. Golden State now gets their pick because it's top 3 protected and it's at 4. And I have them taking Jalen Suggs, the best player available. He's 6'4", 205-pound guard out of Gonzaga and had a really good tournament.
Hell of a tournament.
Yeah, leading them to a national championship and hitting one of the best shots that I've ever witnessed on live television. So.
My mom, she like watches a lot of the tournaments, but she doesn't know the names like we do, and she texts me every once in a while, and she'll like say something like, I know she texted me with one of the games, and she's like, "Where's Suggs? Suggs this, Suggs that." Like, everyone knows Jalen Suggs became, I think, maybe the second biggest name in this draft just because of the tournament.
He is, yeah.
I question this pick from you, but I want you to explain why the team with the best point guard in the last decade takes Jalen Suggs.
Depth, and it's Steph Curry's successor pretty much.
Yeah,
I think Jalen Suggs is probably the backup, but like, look, honestly, they would honestly trade this pick.
Yeah.
To be honest, but we're not doing any trades in this
that.
draft yet. We're gonna do some trades in future mock drafts. Trust me, there will be plenty more. But yeah, this is just depth, and like Klay Thompson's never gonna play a full 82 game season either. So
That's crazy. Yeah.
I mean,
true.
when you come off 2 knee injuries, that's like
Yeah.
that's another factor in taking a guard in Jalen Suggs. You don't know if Klay's ever going to be healthy again. So
Yeah.
you take the high upside guy, and he'll play for him and probably put up pretty good numbers for the minutes he gets. So
Yeah.
You're on the clock with your Oklahoma
You're
City
right.
Thunder. Who do they got at number 5?
So, the Oklahoma City Thunder, if anyone was watching last night, you saw the rebirth of Michael Jordan in Lou Dort. He had a 42. But here's the thing, Chance. I don't want Lou Dort scoring 42. I don't want Lou Dort to be our main option on offense. And he won't be because Shea will come back. But guess what? I don't want him to be number 2 either. So here we take Jonathan Kuminga, 6'8", 210 forward. He played in the G League with Jalen Green, another guy who I said earlier.
Both balled out, too.
He's just a Thunder guy. Sam Presti is known to draft long, athletic wings. The only difference is Kuminga is he has a little bit of a jump shot, and that might turn Presti off for some reason. He likes to do that. But
That's a good point.
Anyway, he averaged basically 18 points a game, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal. Would you say best defender in this draft?
He's up there for sure.
Him, Scotty Barnes, a few other guys. He's just that, like, Anunoby, Jonathan Isaac, Kawhi Leonard, Stanley Johnson of the draft.
All right, easy there.
He's that guy, though. Like, there's always one of these guys, and could go either way. I won't be too upset. I won't be upset with Kuminga at 5. I'll just be upset if we're picking at 5. I want one of the top 4. I'm sorry. But
takes some luck for sure.
Yeah, it does. It does. But it also takes being really bad, and we're losing a lot of games. So hopefully that could continue. Kuminga at 5 doesn't bother me. I think it's the obvious pick here because these 5 guys are the names. Like Kuminga, Suggs, Mobley, Green, and Cunningham. Like every mock draft, they're the top 5 picks. So
how many first round picks do you guys have this year?
First rounds, I think 2, 3.
2, okay.
I think
you probably
2.
have like 6 picks.
Yeah, we do.
Do you think there's a chance OKC tries to move up into that top 4?
Yeah.
And if so, do you think you give up a player as well?
I would not mind if we gave up our 2 first rounders for a top 3 pick and maybe Darius Bazley.
You give up Bazley?
Yeah, he's just.
I mean, that would honestly be a pretty good package.
He's just not like he's not. What's the word? Getting better. What's the word?
Improving.
He's not improving at the rate of the rest of the young guys, and I know some guys take a longer time. And knowing the Thunder organization, Bazley will go average 33 a game wherever he goes.
This pick is honestly Bazley's replacement too, because it's the same position.
Yeah. If it's top 3, yes. Top 4, I feel like that's just a little too much. But for Cunningham, Green, or Mobley, which I think are like the consensus 3, I think maybe the Suggs hype train might get them in the top 3. Who knows? I wouldn't mind that. Maybe, I don't know. Do you think we could? I feel like Presti could probably give around like a 2037 second round pick. But no. What I was going to say...
He's going to have to trade some picks because they can't make all those.
I was going to say, do you think we'd have to give away both first rounders to get a top 3 pick? We couldn't do 1 in Bazley?
If you're going from 5 to 3...
Yeah.
It's not really that big of a drop-off, so I really don't think you'd have to give up that much.
So maybe just 1 first rounder and Bazley? I mean, I would do it.
Well, no, it would be 5, whatever that Heat pick ends up being in Bazley, and I think that would be the package.
Yeah.
Which honestly isn't that much. Like, especially in the 20s in this draft, it's really not that good. Like, the 20s in any draft usually isn't that good, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would do that if I was OKC, and you can grab, like, Jalen Green or something, but in this case, they get Kuminga, who honestly I think has really high upside as well.
Yeah.
So, I'm on the clock with the Houston Rockets, and they honestly were one of the biggest losers in this.
They're just big losers, man.
Anyone that's projected in the top 5 and ends up, this is slight, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, I'm just going to move on.
Houston, number 6.
Houston takes Scotty Barnes, the 6'9" forward out of Florida State, who I think is one of the best defensive players in this draft.
He's a beast.
He's also very raw.
I was about to say, raw.
There's not a lot of things that he's really good at right now, but defense is something he can hold his head high on.
They need that in Houston. Jeez.
It's really defense and playmaking for him right now. In terms of scoring, there's just not a lot going on besides like what he can do in transition.
I think he's quite a facilitator from what I've seen. Like he's a pretty good.
He gets guys open, but he doesn't really finish plays for himself.
Yeah.
Projected role, honestly, like a two-way point forward with like all-star potential. I think.
Yeah, I mean,
not like all NBA, but really.
No,
good.
like maybe make a few all-star games, that type of guy.
In Houston, he's going to be one of the go-to options as well because they're terrible.
Pretty sure their second-round pick will be a go-to option. What do they got? They got
KPJ is just going in on the Rockets.
I'm sorry, you guys know I hate the Rockets, but KPJ and Christian Wood, and then what's
like stole Russ from you?
No, we just always had beef with them. They're like our rivals, you know. It's like Seattle and San Francisco.
Tyus Jones just got a bucket. Come on,
shout out Tyus. Yeah.
I don't know. We're watching the Memphis versus Dallas game. Yeah. Pretty boring, to be honest.
Yeah, of course.
I'd rather watch Detroit, to be honest.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways, who do you got at 7 with the Wizards?
All right. So this is my favorite guy my favorite guy isn't even in our, but this is my favorite guy outside of the top 5 that's like right up there. Is James Bouknight out of Washington. 6'5", 190 shooting guard.
James Bouknight out of Washington.
Not out of Washington. Sorry, I was reading. He's out of UConn. We have Washington with the 7th pick taking him. Out of UConn. 6'5", 190 shooting guard. Only 20 years old. Roughly 23 points a game. Roughly 23 points a game. 6.5 rebounds.
He's a bucket.
1.7 steals.
He just kind of went off.
Barely a block. Yeah. He's just a great player. I think he can improve as like a perimeter shooter. I know percentage wise he wasn't too great.
It's also a lot of attempts.
He plays real well above the rim. Has great pace, which is huge in the NBA. You look at guys dominating. Like Luka's whole game is surrounded by his pace. Like his whole pace. John Morant's another one of those guys. But yeah, I think he could be a scoring, like you said, projected role, a scoring guard. Like I'm trying to think of a comp for him. I always do that, which probably is stupid, but just a guard that gets buckets, like
depending on what
prime Deion Waiters. No, I'm just kidding.
Miami Deion Waiters.
Yeah, Miami Deion Waiters.
In terms of role on Washington, if they keep Beal, obviously he comes off the bench probably as like a 6-man type, but they need everything they could possibly get.
Yeah.
I know you in the past of like the roast the Wizards as well, like you do the Rockets. But
hey, Westbrook's hooping right now though, so I can't hate too much.
Do you think they move Beal this offseason?
It's so weird. Bradley Beal until recently was like the same thing as Vucevic, where we talked about him getting traded every year and then he just didn't, and then one day on the trade deadline he went to Chicago. So I think he could go somewhere. I guess I can't tell you if they trade Vucevic or not. I could tell you if I was them, not Vucevic, Beal. I can tell you if I was them, I would, because what is their plans for him? Like, what is their? They're gonna surround
Beal?
him. Yeah,
I don't know.
They're gonna surround
really
him
confusing.
with Bouknight, Denny Adija.
They've got all this untapped potential on their roster because, like, Bradley Beal's taking all these touches. So I honestly think it'd be good for them to get something back for Bradley Beal and see what they have in some of those other lottery picks that they
maybe trade him to Houston for John Wall. It seems like John Wall will just follow wherever Russ goes, but no. I feel like he'd have to go to a team with a high pick, don't you think? Or do you think they would trade him for a pick? I feel like
they're gonna ask for a haul, to say the least. Like it's gonna be
which is hard.
Multiple first round picks, multiple upside players.
I need to go
maybe a proven guy.
I need to make a rant real quick, okay? So everyone needs to hear this.
All right.
I see a lot of people whenever Bradley Beal scores 40 or 30 or damn near 50 or whatever, people in the comments always say empty stats. I don't think empty stats are real. I think, like, they always say that, but, like, people said about Devin Booker for years, and now they're a playoff team because he has a good team. Kevin Love, we never saw it in Minnesota because he never had a good team. I hate the whole empty stats. I don't
He
think
never had a good teammate.
Yeah, what are they supposed to go out there and be like? I'm just gonna score 14 tonight. I don't want people to call it empty stats. Like, no, they go out there and hoop. Zach LaVine was being called that too, and it's not empty stats. It's just your teammates suck and you don't. And anyway, what my point about Beal is I want to see him somewhere new so that people could shut up about the empty stats BS because it's just not true. It's just not true. Empty stats aren't real. That's how I feel. All right, that rant over.
I like what you said there.
Yeah,
It actually
yeah.
sounded pretty smart
Yeah.
and intelligent. I don't usually hear that.
Oh,
from
okay.
Anyways, let's make this a little quicker here.
Yeah.
The 8th pick, we got the Toronto Raptors taking Jalen Johnson, the quitter out of Duke. No, I'm just kidding. No, he's 6'9", 220. Averaged 19 points, 10 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 steals. Honestly, he was low-key hooping in his freshman year. Not a lot of people are talking about him. Maybe he wasn't efficient, but the upside is there. I like his combination of size, strength, and athleticism with good instincts and versatility. Obviously a great rebounder for his position, averaging 10 boards. That's impressive. And he's got a great handle for his size, and then he's good in transition with his change of pace, just like we talked about with Book Knight. So, improvement areas, definitely consistency shooting.
Personality.
I'm
I'm just kidding. I don't know him. I'm just making jokes.
Let's think about why he left. Duke was terrible.
Yeah.
They weren't making the tournament. He didn't want to get hurt and lose millions of dollars. He's a for sure lottery pick. Honestly, I don't blame him.
Honestly, I feel like he could end up being that guy that was like he would have been a consensus top 5 pick if he didn't stop playing. Like we would have realized, oh yeah, this guy is really good at basketball. So I don't know. Yeah.
So, 9th pick, the Sacramento Kings are on the clock. Who do you have them taking?
Sacramento Kings, the land of winning. So here they're gonna go out and try to win right away, and they get a guy I actually know about now, Corey Kispert. The oldest guy here.
He'd be the oldest player in the NBA right away.
Yeah, 22 years old, 6'7", 220, forward out of Gonzaga, best shooter in the draft. It's not close. He's just a sniper.
All-American too.
He's on the what I call the KKK, the Kyle Korver Club. I don't know if that'll get us demonetized, but he's just one of those, those big white guys that can shoot.
Does it even matter if we get demonetized?
No, we don't make any money. Anyway, but yeah, efficient 3-and-D wing is his projected role. He's just a hell of a player, one of the better shooters, best shooter, like I already said. I think like he was probably him or Drew Timme were the best they were the best player on the team. Like I know Suggs is the better prospect, but like throughout the tournament, those two guys were they were the guys.
Kispert is like a win now pick.
Yeah.
In Sacramento, apparently, they say they want to win now. Although I have my doubts that they will.
Yeah.
Kispert is a win now pick, so it kind of fits that timeline, and he just brings a defensive IQ and obviously the shooting that has been talked about. So
yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm on the clock with the 10th pick. I've got Orlando taking Zaire Williams, the 6'8" forward out of Stanford, and in my opinion, he's the most raw prospect taken so far. But he's got really high upside, and he kind of fits the timeline for a team that's just starting a rebuild. So. I really like. I mean, honestly, there's not a lot that he does really well right now.
It's just raw.
But there's a lot that he could be good at. Like, I can see the passing. And I have. So, on my notes here, I have in the improvement areas, I have almost everything. Very raw. So, there's just. I don't know. It's just upside. It's an upside pick for sure.
Yeah, it's just one of those guys at the 10th pick where it's like a lot of those like for sure guys are gone, and you take the guy with just the promise and the guy that you just, but not promise, but potential, and he's a great player. I think I don't know if we had him higher or lower in our last draft. Do you know?
I want to say he was lower.
Okay.
As in,
So he skyrocketed a
12
little bit.
to 14 range, yeah.
All right, so I have the odds still. So here with the 11th pick, we have the best basketball team in Louisiana. New Orleans Pelicans.
Sure they're not better than LSU?
Yeah, I don't know. But one of the guys I really like in this draft, Moses Moody. Is he the youngest? No. Well, he's tied for the youngest in this lottery. 18, 6'6", 205-pound shooting guard out of Arkansas. Arkansas disappointed me. I had them in the championship game.
That was dumb.
Hey, don't worry about it.
Like the only one.
18.6, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, almost a block a game, and 1.2 steals. His I would say his strengths are just like he's really long and athletic, and he has a lot to work on. He's another guy. I feel like the rest of these guys all have a lot to work on, but
yeah, they all suck.
Yeah, all these guys suck. Moses Moody, if you're listening, just become an accountant. Like, I'm just kidding, but
make me a burger.
Yeah, go ahead, do that. But no, how do you feel about this for New Orleans?
I mean, I made the mock draft, so obviously I like it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, no. I think he's like kind of like a go-to scorer in the second unit for them, and they need a little bit of depth in shooting in general. So
yeah,
from that aspect, I like the pick.
Yeah.
I'm on the clock with the Pacers back in the lottery for the first time in I don't know how long, a long time since probably Paul George, to be honest.
They didn't even. No, they didn't draft Paul George. I was thinking Kawhi. No.
So I have them taking.
Oh, whatever.
Whatever you were saying.
Go on. You have them.
I have them taking the most athletic player.
Okay.
In the draft, in Keon Johnson, the 6'5" guard out of Tennessee. This year, his stats really don't jump out at you. But the thing that jumps out to me is his defense.
And him. He jumps a lot.
Literally, no pun intended.
He jumps out too, yeah.
Yeah, it's like his burst, his athleticism, and then his defense along with playmaking is going to get him a role of some kind in the NBA. But I think as his offensive game comes along slowly, he'll be a really good player.
Yeah, I mean, yep. Just great player, you know? You said everything there really is to say about him.
What do you think he does on the Pacers? Probably second unit.
Probably keeps them right where they're at in the mediocrity of being above mediocrity, if that makes any sense. Like they're really good at being.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, like they're really good at being good. That's the Pacers, and I think
decent. They're really good at being
I think
decent.
they stay there until they get like a top pick. But going on here, we have the Golden State Warriors. Look. There's a lot.
They took a massive dub in this mock draft, to say the least.
Look, man. This man is the Andre Iguodala of the draft.
Wow, that's from a Spartan fan.
If the death beam is pointed at Earth, I want Wagner. I want Wagner taking the shot. Because, he has a history of hitting very clutch shots against UCLA in the tournament. No, that's just me being petty as a Michigan State fan.
I'm going to bed.
He was the most NBA ready of all the players on the team, right? I mean, that's why he's the only one in here. He's very solid.
Dude, the subtle shade by AJ.
He's a very solid, all-around player. I think he could be a pretty good scorer in the league, and within.
Could you tell your dog to shut up?
Hey, shut up! I think within 3 weeks he can be as good as his brother. Says a lot. Yeah. Sorry,
we got so off track, but this is probably really funny to listen to.
But
oh man,
his strengths, defense, efficiency.
Let me talk about him.
Yeah, you go on more about the guy.
Okay. This is what Wagner does well. He's a lockdown defender. He's a high basketball IQ, and he's an efficient player. He's not going to take a lot of shots, but when he does, he'll probably make, unless it's the game winner against UCLA.
Yeah.
His improvement areas is his
Clutch.
lack of... I didn't put that in there, but I mean, I probably should have. Just like being a go-to scorer, he doesn't get to the free throw line enough, and he lacks aggressiveness and assertiveness at times, and it showed. Whenever they lost, it seemed like he didn't show up. So, he's gonna need to get better at that, and just basketball in general.
Can I say one thing real
Wish he
quick
didn't go to Michigan.
before we move on to the last guy here? I don't want to throw too much hate towards anybody, but Fran's brother, how do you say his first name? Mohitz. He is, without a doubt, not even close, the ugliest player in the NBA. Bro, I was watching it the other night, and yeah, I probably shouldn't go any further than that. But okay, with the fourth, all right, with the 14th pick, the last here of the lottery.
I actually have the pick. Can you shut up, dog?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to hear from you.
The last.
I have the pick. Shut up. I have them taking Josh Giddey. And literally, I just learned about this guy yesterday, so bear with me. He's a 6'8", 205-pound point guard out of Australia. I'm getting Ben Simmons vibes. I don't know about you. He averaged 13 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, a steal, and a block. So, not a lot of production in terms of points, but obviously the playmaking and rebounding at the point guard position is really good. And then anytime you have a point guard that is over 6'6", the upside is supposed to be really high. And I like the fact of a international-born player going to the Spurs. Do you know why? Could you take a guess as to why?
Marco Bellinelli.
Exactly. Yeah, it was him. That's the comp here.
Yeah.
But no, like guys like Ginobili and Tony Parker have honestly turned out really good on the Spurs and in Popovich's system. So I like the fit there.
I noticed you said something. His projected role is big guard.
Yes.
Like, yeah. Well, like, he could be good or bad. He's going to be a big guard either way.
Yeah, we're talking about the 14th pick here. They're not exactly guaranteed.
Yeah, that's not a lot to say about him. But something that really surprised me is that he's white.
Yeah.
No, we watched a little bit of highlights.
Don't see that a lot out of guards.
Yeah, we watched a little bit of highlights before that, and I was like, 6'8", 205, point guard. Oh, wow. Ben Simmons, Cade Cunningham, Gordon Hayward. More type looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, this is getting kind of awkward here at the end. Shout out Josh Giddey. I'm sure he's the only one that probably could be listening.
I didn't even see this guy in like the first round of any mock drafts until like the last couple of weeks. So he must have done something.
If you had to bet that one of these guys was listening to our podcast, who would it be?
Listening?
Yeah.
Honestly, Josh Giddey.
Yeah, me too. Just because
some random dude in Australia finds the podcast.
Probably. Just buying time here. That's all.
But yeah, we need to be done here. Yeah. We're obviously a little tired and sound really retarded. So
yeah, hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, that's gonna be it for mock draft number 3. Let us know in the comments what you would change, or what you enjoyed or didn't enjoy, or the dumbest things. AJ said you can make a compilation if you want. It would be a long video. Yeah. Probably longer than the video we just made.
Yeah. Socials are in the description as always. Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be it. We need to be done.
You guys have a good one.